His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande, Hare, all glories to the Son devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tiramane, Namaste Saraswatunde, Ve Gauravani Pacharane, Nirvishesha, Shrindavadi, Paskatyade Siddharde. Om Agyanat Varandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vasakam Vitam Scha Hey Krishna Karna Sindho Dinabando Dugatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishubhanu Siddha Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kapa Drubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patidanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Shadvaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Canto 4 Chapter 7, the sacrifice performed by Daksha, text number 22. Kamupagatam alaksha sarve sura ganadaya pranemu sahasotaya Brahmendra Triyaksha Nayaka Kamupagatam Alaksha Sarve Suragunadaya Pranemu Sahasotaya Brahmendra Triyaksha Nayaka Brahmenu Sasotaya Brahmendra Triyakshanayaka Tamupagatam Alaksha Sarve Suraganadaya Ladies. Sarve Upagatam, arrive. Alaksha, after seeing. Sarve, all. Suragana Adaya, the demigods and others. Pranemu, obeisances. Sahasa, immediately. Uttaya, after standing up. Brahma, Lord Brahma. Indra, Lord Indra. Aksha, Lord Shiva, who has 3 eyes. Nayaka, led by. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. As soon as Lord Vishnu is visible, all the demigods, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, the Gandharvas, and all present there, immediately offer their respectful obeisances by falling down straight before him. Please repeat. As soon as Lord Vishnu is visible, all the demigods, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, the Gandharvas, and all present there, immediately offer their respectful obeisances by falling down straight before him. Purport. It appears that Lord Vishnu is the Supreme Lord, even of Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. What to speak of the demigods, Gandharvas, and ordinary living entities. It is stated in the prayer, Yam Brahma, Varnendra, Rudra, Marutaha. All the demigods worship Lord Vishnu. Similarly, Dhyanavastita Tatgatena Manasa Pashanti Yam Yoginaha. Yogis concentrate their minds on the form of Lord Vishnu. Thus Lord Vishnu is worshipable by all demigods, all Gandharvas, and even Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashanti Sarayaha. Lord Vishnu is therefore the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even though Lord Shiva was previously referred to in prayers by Lord Brahma as the Supreme, when Lord Vishnu appeared, Lord Shiva also fell prostrated before him to offer respectful obeisances. So the text again. Tam upagatam alaksha sarve suraganadaya pranemu sahasotaya pramendra triyaksha nayaka. As soon as Lord Vishnu was visible, all the demigods, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, the Gandharvas, and all present there, immediately offer their respectful obeisances by falling down straight before him. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shnuvadi Paskatyade Satarne. So as mentioned here, it appears that Lord Vishnu is God, because everyone was offering obeisances to him. Our whole philosophy is actually quite simple. There's only really 2 parts to knowledge. One is knowledge of the self, and the other is knowledge of the Supreme Self. Now, although it's very simple, Prabhupada also writes in the Bhagavad Gita that this philosophy, the practice of Krishna consciousness, is undoubtedly very difficult, and therefore Krishna advises us to approach a bona fide spiritual master in the line of disciple succession from the Lord himself. No one can actually become a bona fide spiritual master. It's not really part of that line of disciple succession. The actual giver of religion, it says, Prabhupada in that purport, is Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. The actual path of religion is given by the Supreme Lord Krishna. So though our philosophy is very simple in one sense, it is very difficult to realize. Or as Prabhupada said, it's simple for the simple, and it's complicated for the complicated. And the material world makes everyone very complicated. But by use of our intelligence, which is what the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, the Bhagavad Gita is actually meant to invoke our intelligence. At the end of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that one who studies this sacred conversation of mine, he worships me by his intelligence. But it's a special kind of intelligence. It's not the kind of intelligence by which one will become get ahead in the material world. It's the kind of intelligence when one will become detached from gain and loss, for instance. Or Krishna says, ceasing such engagements, by experiencing a higher taste, one becomes fixed in knowledge. Generally, we recite the 10 offenses. And in the 10 offense, the second offense is consider the names of the demigods, like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, to be equal to or independent to the holy name of Lord Vishnu. So generally speaking, the devotees don't commit that offense because they don't believe there is such a person as Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. So how can you believe that anyone is better than them? Of course, we don't believe in Vishnu either. So who's the best? It doesn't really make any difference because, as Devamrita Maharaj was saying yesterday, since they're all mythological, if someone takes the head in a mythology, it's all right. He's the head mythological personality. But we don't worship Vishnu, generally speaking. People don't worship Brahma. They don't worship Shiva. They worship famous actresses and actors. They worship, here in Australia, rugby players, cricket players, tennis players. If you want to know who's better, the topmost cricket player or Vishnu, there's no competition. Of course, we take the topmost cricket player. Therefore, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Bhagavad Gita systematically presents knowledge in such a way is that we can utilize our intelligence and actually see through the eyes of knowledge. Otherwise, Krishna says, Utkramantam stitim vapi bhujana vagananvita vimuro nanapashanti pashanti jnana chakshusha. The foolish, they cannot understand how the living entity quits his body, or what kind of knowledge, what kind of body one enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But those whose eyes are trained with knowledge can see all this clearly. So except for one who can actually understand how the living entity is going to leave his body and what kind of body he's enjoying under the spell of the modes of material nature, then one is considered to be foolish, a mudha. Of course, people become insulted. Matter of fact, the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam practically glorify the bigger hogs, dogs, or like hogs, dogs, camels, and asses. So people will take offense if we say that. Prabhupada used to say, well, I'm not saying that. The Bhagavatam is saying that. If you have any problem, talk to the Bhagavatam. We don't see anyone in the material world as better or worse. We see everyone as being fooled by the illusory energy. Everyone remains the same spiritual soul, eternally fragmental part of Krishna. As Krishna is glorious, so the fragmental part of Krishna is also glorious. Unfortunately, the glory is covered over by illusion, and therefore the soul has manifested itself as so many incarnations, and we call them the Mudha incarnation, Mudha avatars. We've come as the full incarnations. But Bhagavad Gita, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, is meant to awaken the fool to understand its actual glories, our actual glories. Beginning with that simple knowledge in the Bhagavad Gita, which Prabhupada said will take people in general, 500 years to understand that our bodies are changing. But we ourselves are not changing. That should make everyone prasanatma. Immediately we should become joyful. I'm going to live forever. What could be more joyful than that? And yet when people hear that, instead of becoming joyful, they become sometimes morose. What are you saying about my body? Are you saying my body's changing? You don't like my body? You want to get rid of it? But actually it should make us joyful. We're going to live forever. Unfortunately, the question is, are we going to live in hell forever? Are we going to live in an ever-changing world forever, trying to find stability here, trying to find security? When they did a survey, what is the number one desire that workers have? Do they want more money? Do they want greater position? What are the number one desire that they have is stability. Everyone wants something stable. Why do people build houses? Why do they buy houses? Why do they have families? Why do they take their vitamin pill? Why do they do their exercise? Why do they go to do anything? Because they're hoping somehow or another that this will prevent me from having to find myself in an uncomfortable, perhaps I might even have to leave my present body or present situation. No one wants to go to an unknown place where they don't know what's going to happen to them. Suddenly, if there's an economic collapse and everyone had to leave their house, and people become very disturbed. Where am I going? What am I going to eat? Where am I going to eat? Where am I going to sleep? Who will love me when I get old? Who will take care of me? So everyone wants security in this insecure world where there is no security. Deha patya kalatradishu atma sanyeshva satsupi tesham pramato nidanam pashanapi napashyati. Our deha, our body, our apatya, our children, kalatra, our wife or a husband, adishu, and then all the other paraphernalia. These are sanyeshu. There are soldiers meant to protect us, give us security. What to speak of ourselves, it is said that King Ugrasena had, sometimes it was estimated, 4 quadrillion bodyguards. I don't know if he was paranoid or not. Obviously, anyone who wanted to get to King Ugrasena had to go through a few of his bodyguards. Take him a while to get there. I guess I don't know where he fit the 4 quadrillion bodyguards. But in any case, everyone wants protection in this material world. Now, since we're eternal, what we should actually be protected from is illusion. That's the only real protection we need, because if we realize we're eternal, then all the other protections become meaningless. For a material body that's meant to break down, which we have to leave sooner or later, there can be no protection. But the soul really needs the protection. It's the soul that's in difficulty, not the material body. The body's always in difficulty, that we can't solve, but we can solve the difficulty that we ourselves as the soul is in, having to take one body after another. Jaramarana mokshaya mama shriti tantiye te brahma tadvidu kritsna madhyatma karma chakila. Those who are actually intelligent, who are endeavoring for liberation from old age, disease, and death, take refuge in me, Krishna says. Take refuge in devotional service. So that's what we're supposed to take refuge in. But unless we understand that there's a person to take refuge in, then we won't do that. We won't know how to get out of illusion. Therefore, the Bhagavatam systematically points out to us that Krishna exists, not simply as a theory, as an idea, but systematically, that Krishna is the closest person to us right now, as Paramatma. That at least we should realize that there's a person within our heart, from him is coming remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. That this combination, permutations of the gross and subtle material nature does not produce matter. Or as Prabhupada says, trust no ever future, however pleasant. The idle talk of how matter is going to combine into spirit is just so much hallucination. We've never seen matter giving birth to souls. There's no combination except in one science fiction story, Dr. Frankenstein. There's never been any historical evidence of matter giving rise to spirit. But we can see that we're conscious. And we have a guide within us who's giving us knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. Just like if I want to touch this microphone, then if the super soul who acts like a father to us, he's the Supreme Father, and that Supreme Father is always with us, always guiding us at every moment, always giving us remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness according to what we desire and what we deserve. So just like if I want to touch this microphone, it seems relatively easy. But if I try to touch the microphone by putting my hand like this, if I don't know how to touch the microphone, because I haven't done yoga for a while, so it's become a little bit more difficult, it's going to be difficult. Actually, that's a pretty good stretch, though. That means I just don't have the intelligence. So we may think, of course, most people have the intelligence to touch the microphone, but when we get older, sometimes we can't even remember where the microphone is. So it is not an automatic assumption that we're even going to remember where we left our keys. And then we pray, we start meditating. Actually, we're praying, my dear Lord, where did I leave my keys? I'll never forget them again. I'll always put them in the right place. I'm sorry I lost my keys. Please help me. Now I'm a soul surrendered to you. I'll go to your temple and offer some puja if you just help me remember my keys, where they are. Or at least they pray to Hanuman. Hanuman, please give me my keys. So we're totally dependent. Unless Krishna gives us remembrance, then where is it going to come from? Just like I can recite a verse which is relevant here. Aham savasya pravo batak sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. I have no idea where that remembrance came from. It's not that I willed it into being, but Krishna just supplies it. Krishna is just supplying our remembrance. And when he doesn't supply our remembrance, we just can't remember. And sometimes Krishna gives us remembrances we just don't want to remember. That's called madness. When you keep on remembering the same thing over and over again that you don't want to remember. Then you're called crazy. And when you can't remember anything, then you're called senile. And in between, here we are. Either mad or senile or in between. So, for the devotee, Krishna gives remembrance so we can remember him. And he gives knowledge so we can see him. We can see how he's at. We're actually dependent on him. It is the most obvious thing, for instance, that we're not this body. But Krishna says, Yitanto yoginas chainam pashant yatman nivasita yitanto yat kritatmano naiva pashanti chetasa. The endeavoring transcendentalist who is situated in self-realization can see all this clearly, but those who are not situated, those who are not trained, although they may try in so many different ways, they can't actually understand what's taking place. The most obvious thing that our body is changing, but we're not changing, is so unclear not only to ordinary people, but to some degree to even ourselves. Such is the power of the illusory energy. The most obvious thing that we're dependent on, remembrance, coming from somewhere. We're depending on knowledge being supplied to us, and also forgetfulness. If we didn't forget, imagine having to remember all these horrible things that happened to us. The time I broke my finger, the time I failed the math test, the time I broke my computer. I just go crazy. We're already lamenting enough. We'd simply sit there the whole day lamenting. It's bad and it's getting worse. Therefore, Krishna helps us forget. Otherwise, how could the living entity live in this material world? If he remembered being a frog and remember all the different snakes that ate him, life after life, it'd be quite discouraging. Especially when remembered, one time I was a king, everyone was serving me, somehow or another I tripped and I fell, and I broke my head, I died, and I became a frog. I was king frog, though. But then the king snake came and ate me. If we remember this, how depressed we'd become, how discouraged we'd become, how it'd be impossible to live in this material world, remembering all the different types of troubles we've gone through. Therefore, Krishna helps us forget for the non-devotee. But for Queen Kunti, Vipadak Shandutak Shasvat Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru Bhavata Darshanam Yasya Apuna Bhavadarshanam. She was hoping to remember these calamities again and again. She was hoping to see them again. Ishan Mahagne Purushara Darshanat Asat Sabaya Vanakrishata Ride Neka Mahara Tastra. So the Pandavas, they were fed, Bhima specifically was fed poison. Of course, it was a poison birthday cake. It was a poison cake. And he ate the cake full of Kalakuta poisoning, and Bhima was so strong, all he did was felt a little tired. He said, oh, I feel a little tired. The Kaurava said, yes, that's natural after you eat. Take a little rest, take a snap. So he took a snap, and they said, happy birthday, Bhima, and they took him and threw him into a lake of poisonous snakes. Swaha. All the snakes bit Bhima, counteracted the Kalakuta poisoning. He woke up, killed the snakes, taken to Varuna's abode, where he was given nectar, and made him as strong as 10,000 elephants. So, Queen Kunti is remembering all these problems, one problem after another. We have problems one after another, but no one's going to write a book about it, about our problems. But Mahabharata, they wrote it, so we can read about all the problems, one after another. They were put into a house of lac, put on fire, they escaped, and then as soon as they got out, someone wanted to eat them. Imagine you're on your house, it's on fire, the firemen come. As soon as you get out, someone jumps on you and tries to eat you. It would definitely be a bad day. But she was trying to remember these things, because as soon as she remembered them, then she took shelter of Krishna. And because by taking shelter of Krishna, then there is no more seeing repeated birth and death. So the things that help us remember Krishna, why do we remember Krishna? Because we take shelter of Krishna, because we desire Krishna, we desire his help, therefore he gives us his association, his protection. And as soon as we think everything's all right, I have my family, I have my money in the bank, I have everything else, and when I need Krishna, at least to keep my contact with him, I'll come to Janmashtami and say hello every year or two. Make sure he knows I'm still here. So this dependency upon Krishna, this desire to take shelter of Krishna, then Krishna reveals himself to us. And what is that revelation? He helps us remember him. And for those who want to take shelter of everything but Krishna, then Krishna helps us forget him. He gives us so much intelligence so that we'll believe that everything came out of nothing. Of course, no one believes that everything came out of nothing. Because if that was true, then why would one do anything? We just sit there and pray to nothing. My dear nothing, I need my PhD degree. Could you just manifest it out of nothing? No one does that. They go to school for so many years. They study. They sacrifice so much, not waiting for nothing to give them everything. They're using their intelligence supplied by Krishna to get what they want. So no one believes the philosophy, but still people claiming they believe everything came out of nothing. We're all descendants of the ape, whatever else. The bottom line is they'll accept anything, any crazy theory, as long as it doesn't include God within it. As long as it doesn't include that we're supposed to utilize these energies in the service of Krishna. And even worse than that, the worst thing is that we have to give up the idea that we're the controllers, we're the enjoyers, we're the doers, that this is not my family, this is not my body, this is not mine, and it's not meant for my enjoyment. We'll remember anything. We'll accept any knowledge except for that. Nite vidu swartakatim hi Vishnu. They don't believe that, they don't know that the goal of life is to obtain Vishnu. They don't believe he exists. They don't believe that there's someone moving the sun in its orbit. They don't believe that there's someone who's controlling our digestive power so that when we eat food, it's being digested, assimilated, and the unnecessary parts are eliminated. How it's going on, they have no idea really. But to put that there's an intelligence behind it, that they absolutely won't accept. So Krishna gives us such intelligence that they'll never accept that, the most obvious thing. And all they'll remember is their football stars, their favorite movie stars. Their minds will be absorbed in lust and anger and greed, just remembering these objects of their sense gratification. And their intelligence will be continuously taken away by the illusory energy. That's how Krishna has created the material world for us. But when one becomes a little intelligent, realizes I'm dependent on Krishna for my remembrance, I'm dependent upon Krishna for my knowledge, I'm dependent upon Krishna for my forgetfulness, then there's a possibility of recognizing Nimitra Matram Bhavasavasachin. I should become Krishna's instrument. I should utilize my body, my intelligence, my mind to please Krishna because he's giving me these things. So I should reciprocate by utilizing it in such a way as to benefit myself and others. Rather than continuously deny the existence of the Supreme Lord, act in such a way as that God is not supreme, our favorite rock star is the supreme, our favorite movie actor or actress is the supreme. Rather than to act, or I'm supreme in my house, outside my house I fight with everyone else to become supreme. And in my house I fight with my wife to become supreme. And my kids are acting as if they're supreme. And ultimately my dog is the supreme because he's the only one everyone takes care of. So rather than that, act in such a way as that Krishna is supreme and that depend upon Krishna the knowledge that we're actually spiritual souls, servants of Krishna, who's actually giving us all these different energies, gross and subtle, ultimately meant for his service. Then there's some possibility of understanding how beyond the material world, beyond these interchanging of the gross and subtle material nature, beyond our Krishna giving us remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness, supplying us with the intelligence so we know how to touch the microphone. We know not to try to go behind my neck and try and touch the microphone. Not a bad yoga move, though. Easier this way, though. So rather than going through all these different things, accept Krishna is the one who's supplying us with these energies, and they're meant for his service. So Prabhupada writes in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam that our free will in the human form of life, we can manifest our free will. Well, what is that free will? People are wondering, do I have free will? Am I just a robot? God is in control. He knows past, present, and future. I'm just a helpless victim. I'm just like a mouse in a maze. God is watching me. He knows if I'm going to get out or not. I have no choice whether to get out or not because he knows everything. No, actually we have free will, but it's not the free will that we think. Do I will that the sun rises because of my free will in the morning? And if I want to be in this body, I'm just walking out. No, our free will, Prabhupada writes, consists of either orientating our desires towards the ignorant misconception of identifying ourselves with these gross and subtle bodies, and then acting accordingly. What does that mean? Kama, krodha, etc. Kama. No, I know. I'm just trying to find the right verse there. Krodha, kama, krodha, vimuktanam, yatinam, yatachetasam, abhito brahmaniravanam, vartate viditatmana, or shaknoti haiva yakshodum, praksharira vimokshana, kama, krodho, bhavan vegan, siyukta sa sukhinara. Shaknoti haiva means toleration. What does Krishna say in the Bhagavad Gita after he tells Arjuna, they have a good time killing things in video games? Sometimes in video games, sometimes in other ways. Does Krishna say, now you're not their body, you're not your body, they're not their body. Go out and kill them and have a good time. Just mow them down. Urgh. See how many you can kill in 5 minutes. No, you may not be this body, they may not be there. To learn tolerance and check the force of desire and anger. He's called a yogi and he's happily situated in this world. So that's our free will. We can learn toleration. And then if we're tolerating our material senses and mind, our material conceptions of existence, then we can utilize this body, mind, words, and actual service of Krishna. So that's our free will. We can orient, or we can identify ourselves with Krishna and his chain of acharyas in disciple succession and their representatives, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, and then orientate our desires towards what they're directing us. What Krishna is trying to tell us from within our heart, and he's telling us the same thing without our heart, in the form of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So when we get it right and we orientate our desires in that way, then we get out of these misconceptions of life. Then we can see that in this material world, there's only 3 energies. There's matter, there's spirit, and there's super spirit. But we should not think that the Supreme Spirit, his only business is supplying remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness, and all the other gross and subtle energies to all the conditioned souls so they can get their house, their wife, and their color TV and chant Om Jai Jagadisha Hari. That's not the only business of the Supreme Lord. When we hear Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, we find the Supreme Lord also exists with his ever-liberated souls in this spiritual world, where everyone is engaged in loving service to the Supreme Lord. Instead of having to love dead material bodies, serves dead material conceptions, they're serving the real, blissful, all-attractive Supreme Lord in the spiritual world. Instead of serving his dead material energies, they're serving him personally. And therefore it says, Bhavanam janmanam ante jnanamam prapadyate vasudeva saramiti saramahatma sudurabala baha. That after passing through many births and deaths, one who actually gets real knowledge and surrenders unto me becomes aware that I'm the cause of all causes and all that be. So that's called Sula Durlabha. Such a great soul is very rare. Or Moksha Lagu Krit. That such a liberated person, or getting such a liberation, is quite rare. But we ourselves, we're so fortunate that we have some intelligence. We've accepted to some degree that Krishna is God, otherwise we wouldn't be here. We've accepted to some degree that we're not this body. To some degree we're relying on the Supreme Soul to guide us, both internally and externally. So we simply continue with the process, try to develop our free will, orientate it properly towards the real conception, and then gradually we'll actually come to the perfection of life. We should just be careful not to be carried away by the ignorant misconceptions that there is no Krishna, that everyone is Krishna, or no one knows what's going on here. It's all up for grabs. Whatever knowledge, whatever you want to accept as reality, you can accept. Whatever you want to experience, you go and experience. All you do is have to get enough money, and the whole world is open to you for your experience. You can eat anything you want. You can sleep as much as you want, anywhere you want. You can sleep on a 115th floor. You can sleep on the airplane. You can sleep on a mountain. You can sleep underneath in a submarine. You can try it all on a water bed, on an air bed, on a whatever. And sex, of course. Have sex with everything and anything that moves. Try it out. See what it's like. And as far as defending, since you can't, at least we give you video games. You yourself can't even, a little kid 5 years old comes and attacks you, you're finished. But at least in the video games, you can really feel at home on the, I don't know what the names of the video games, Captain, whatever. I become Captain Destroyer, Captain America. So rather than waste our time in such conceptions of life, accept Krishna as described, intelligently accept Krishna, intelligently understand our existence as a soul, intelligently understand the existence of the super soul in this world, take his guidance, both internally and externally from Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, because internally, Krishna will help us understand what Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra is saying. And Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra will help us understand how to contact Krishna and hear what he's saying. And then they'll give us the opportunity to appreciate our good fortune that we have the opportunity to get association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who lives in the spiritual world eternally. And that spiritual world, he's inviting us to immediately come to it by chanting the holy names, by hearing about him in these books, by serving him in the form of the deities, by associating in devotion and loving service to the devotees, executing the 6 loving exchanges with them appropriately. He's giving us so many opportunities to live in this mature world in devotional service and associate with him and actually experience our actual, it says, Sadayava, our actual inheritance. So, I'll stop there. Thank you. Any comments? Yes.
Perhaps that point that came earlier on about God being all-knowing and at the same time we have a free will. How do we reconcile that?
Well, Krishna knows everything. It's very simple. Just like we can know, some people, some living entities in this mature world are Trikalagan. They know everything. But we don't think that they're controlling everything. Just like the simple example is someone's on a tree, on a branch of a tree, soaring the tree branch that he's on. And someone comes along and says, "My dear sir, if you keep on soaring that branch, you're going to fall down." And you go, "Oh, you and your, philosophy, what do you know? Are you?" So then he keeps on soaring the branch, and suddenly it falls down. He falls on the ground and runs after the man and says, Sir, wait. Tell me my future. You must be an astrologer." So Krishna can observe how the living entities are living in the modes of material nature, or how they're executing devotional service, and he knows because he's omniscient, he knows what will be the result. Because the material natures act as parasya shaktir vividaiva shuyate svabhavaki jnana bala kriya cha. The material natures, all of Krishna's energies, act as a natural sequence. So if you do one thing in the material world, you get this result. So if you keep on doing it, you're going to get, the result is predictable. And Krishna tells us what the results are. Karmana sukritasyahu, karmana sukritasyahu, satikam nirmalam palam, rajasastu palam dukam, agana tamasa palam. If we act in the mode of goodness, we'll get knowledge. If we act in the mode of passion, we'll get misery. If we act in the mode of ignorance, we'll get foolish, madness, and ignorance. So it's predictable. And Krishna can see how we're acting, and he can predict what the result is going to be. Anything else? Yes?
Yeah, like we were mentioning about Queen Kunti's prayers, that she wants more difficulty so that she can remember Krishna. But I don't have this consciousness. So
You don't have to worry about it. Kali Yuga is such so that we don't have to pray for misery and problems. They're automatically supplied. There's no need to pray like that.
How to get there? How to achieve this consciousness of Queen Kunti?
Well, in the midst of our practicing devotional service, we'll meet so many difficulties. Practically every moment we're meeting a difficulty. But if we rely upon Krishna and we think about Krishna, what would you like me to do under this difficulty? Mental, intellectual, or physical difficulty. What would you like me to do? And then we try to do that. Then we'll remember, Krishna will help us remember him. He'll give us the intelligence by which we can make progress, even in difficulty in devotional service. That we can remain steady and enthusiastic in our devotional service, even though we're confronting some kind of difficulty. But if we face difficulty and we don't rely upon Krishna, we rely upon some Krishna to supply some other intelligence other than relying upon him, then we're just destined to face that same difficulty again and again perpetually, till finally we get to the point where we realize the only way I'm going to get out of this difficulty is to surrender to Krishna. Like Draupadi, she tried in so many different ways to protect her cloth, but finally she gave up and just put up her hands and said, "Hey, Govinda." So it's just a question of our recognizing, for instance, we're all going through old age, disease, and death. And if we're not fully Krishna conscious, we have to take our birth again. So we're always faced with difficulty, but we're not really thinking, we're not aware of that difficulty. We're in the most dangerous, difficult situation, and it doesn't bother us. So Krishna sends little difficulties, so hopefully they bother us, so we take shelter of him. And then when we realize one day that we have much bigger difficulties, then we'll really take shelter of Krishna. Yes?
We know Krishna is the supreme controller, but then we hear that he doesn't control everyone, so how we reconcile this?
We hear that Krishna is the supreme controller.
But then as Maharaj pointed earlier on, he doesn't control everyone, he just knows.
Well, in one sense, he doesn't control our desire, our free will, but everything else he's controlling. So as soon as we put our desires in one direction, then Krishna manifests, he puts us under the spell of either one direction, if we're in devotional service, under the spell of the internal energy, and if we decide to be under the spell of the illusory energy, he puts under Maya Shakti.
So he controls both.
And he controls both. But in the spiritual energy, everything there is manifested out of love. So love is freedom. Actually, we can't help but love Krishna when we're in the spiritual energy. We can't help it, but we don't want to help it. We want to only increase it, because it's a source of unlimited pleasure. But that's our free will. We positively become overwhelmed with the desire to please Krishna. And here we're overwhelmed with the desire to please the gross and subtle material nature. So it's our nature to serve. The question is what we're going to serve. All right, thank you very much. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande.